part two of how I learned I had cancer. So far, things are kind of normal. Like you have a mammogram, you have an ultrasound, they see something strange, and they come and they say to you, something is strange. That's kind of, that sounds like, well, that's how people learn. Things got a little more insane and nasty and wrong. But right now, it's just a little scary. So, as I said, two people are coming into the room right after my ultrasound to give me results. And they sit down with me, and one of them says, "We see something suspicious. We see something that you need to have a biopsy. We see two things. We'd like you to have two biopsies or biopsy on two areas." And I immediately started telling them, I think you're wrong because I have very dense breasts. So there are things I'm explaining to them that they're wrong and everything's actually fine. They see it incorrectly. Because I always have these issues. They always see something suspicious and then they look further and they realize it's fine. And so they calmly and sweetly explain to me, no, we're looking at all of your results from the past 10 years. This is new. This is not something that they see every year and it turns out to be fine. This is something that has developed since your last mammogram and ultrasound. And it's something in your right breast, and there's also something suspicious under your arm in your lymph nodes. So we suggest you having biopsies to tell you once and for all. So this is, it's more invasive, but this is the only thing that can tell us if it's cancer or not. So I take the brochures and I walk into another place where they are then going to schedule an appointment for me to have a biopsy. So it sounds, I'm scared, but it feels like things are moving in the right direction because they, instead of just saying, go, good luck with all of that, they were going to schedule an appointment for me. So I sat down, they printed out about 129 pieces of paper that I had to sign, including something that said, if your insurance doesn't pay for the biopsy, you will pay for it. So I remember saying to them, obviously I'm going to sign this because I need to have the biopsy, but how much is it going to be? Because if I am going to be responsible for something financially, I should know what it is. I shouldn't just sign a piece of paper. Like, is this something that I'm going to need to, try to get an extra client for or go into my savings? Is it, or am I going to have to mortgage my house for this? Like, is this going to be a few dollars or like many, many thousands? And the woman said, I don't know. This is crazy. Don't you think it's crazy that people who work in the industry and charge you for things, they don't know actually how much it costs because typically they just send it to insurance and then insurance fights them and they pay some of it and you pay some of it. No one actually knows how much these things cost. But if you're going to tell me that I'm going to need to pay for it, I want to know how much it's going to cost. And the woman said, I don't know, maybe a few $1,000s. And I didn't have the luxury of time. So I just signed the papers, all the papers. And they scheduled an appointment for, I think it was 4 days later, the end of that week. And then I'm like, okay, good. At least I'm going to have this appointment. I'll deal with the insurance and the payment. This is not like I wonder if I should buy this pair of shoes. This is a cancer diagnosis. Obviously, I'm doing it. And then before I leave, she says to me, by the way, the appointment is set, but it's tentative until the insurance company approves it. And I said, okay, so they may not approve it? Like, didn't I just say if they don't approve it, I'll pay it? And she said, yeah, but you can't have the appointment unless the insurance company approves it. And guess what? I can't even go to the insurance company and tell them to approve it until my doctor sends them in for my doctor, my general care, primary care doctor, who does nothing but see me if I have a sore throat or a headache or something. If I need a doctor, I go to him. I do not go to him. He's not my He's not my gynecologist. He's not a breast surgeon. He has nothing to do with my breasts. But because every year he gives me this prescription, in case your insurance needs or the doctor needs, here's a prescription for your annual mammogram. I've never needed it before because I've gone to this place every year that's kind of like a, what do you call that? Like a boutique place where they don't go through insurance, they don't need a prescription, they just do they do your mammogram and ultrasound and you pay out of your pocket. I've never needed this doctor's prescription before, but this year is so different, and I just grabbed the prescription that he gave me. And now the ultrasound results are going to this doctor who doesn't even know that I'm having any issues. He doesn't know anything about what's going on. But he has sent this information and he has to approve it and send it to the insurance company. And then the insurance company has to approve it so that I can have a biopsy. And all of this needs to happen within 4 days. So I run home and begin the next part of my journey.